this was anticipated. I mean, the Congress party was very confident of its victory in the state of Karnataka, and this was an inevitable situation to arise in the scenario for victory like it has happened right now. Should the Congress party have been better prepared to deal with this? Because so far we haven't had a consensus.
Good evening all. एक उम्र कट गई है तेरे इंतजार में, एक उम्र कट गई है तेरे इंतजार में, कुछ ऐसे हैं भी कट न सकी जिनसे एक रात. So the BJP's condition is like that right now, Anusha, because the BJP having itself delayed cabinet formation in Maharashtra by 1 month, in other states like Uttarakhand, Madhya Pradesh, in the hijacked governments, of course, which were not even formed by them. So this is exactly how a party talks, which has never been able to win a clear mandate in a well-informed state like Karnataka. Because you see, Kannadigas are very clear. And the Kannadigas are not impatient today, because they know that the Congress has one after the other an array of tall leaders, very capable leaders. We can point anybody and they'll be able to look after the interests of the state very well. But it's only about not serving a half-baked pie. We'd like to serve the public of Karnataka what they deserve. A panel of ministers, a cabinet of ministers headed by a very befitting gentleman who would best secure their interests. That is why there's no haste.
Mahima, one interjection. Please allow me one interjection. Mahima, hasn't this competition, talent, and I'm not saying that there shouldn't be a healthy one within the party. It looks like so far that there's solidarity. But hasn't this situation backfired for you? Say in Rajasthan, in Madhya Pradesh. I could pull out other examples as well.
See, the kind of mandate we have won in Karnataka recently, of course, it's a severe burn for many. We understand that. As I said, ऐसे भी हैं कि कट ना सकी जिनसे एक रात.
तो चलिए मैं बीजेपी से सवाल ले लेती हूँ महिमा जी, because you've been pointing out a lot of questions to the BJP. Shehzad, this is not an inordinate delay. Mahima ji, I'll come to you. Please allow me 30 seconds. All right, finish your point, Mahima ji. Finish your point.
I was just going to say that Karnataka has a huge responsibility with the kind of historical mandate it's given to us. It's put a huge responsibility on our shoulders, and we'd like to take care of it with utmost caution and precision.
Point taken. Shehzad, it's not an inordinate delay. There are instances where the BJP has taken longer to pick the chief minister. Why are you nitpicking on the Congress party? That's what they're asking you.
इंतजार करते करते एक और शाम बीत जाएगी. इंतजार करते करते एक और शाम बीत जाएगी. जो मैंडेट था स्थिरता का, कर्नाटका भी राजस्थान की ओर चली जाएगी. देखिए, हम तो ये कह रहे हैं कि इट्स नॉट अबाउट द डिले. द फैक्ट इज दैट वंस अ डिसीजन वाज टेकन, इवन इन आवर पार्टी, डिसीजन वाज टेकन आफ्टर फ्यू डेज, नो प्रॉब्लम. But once Yogi Adityanath ji's decision was taken by the elected MLAs, was there somebody sitting in Dharna against him when it was taken in Uttarakhand, or whether it was taken in any other state? Did you see any leadership of our state sitting there after 4 years saying that no promises have been fulfilled and we are on Dharna? And if this was such a democratic process, pray why is Sachin Pilot being called anti-party and anti-national? In fact, sedition cases were filed against him. Thirdly, there are only two sets of bodies where the organs of that bodies are fighting against each other for power. In Pakistan, multiple organs fighting against each other for power, and in Congress, multiple organs fighting against each other for power. And therefore, this Rajasthan template of political adultery, Anusha, when you say Kabul hai to more than one, that Kabul hai leads to talaq. In Rajasthan, they have said Kabul hai to more than one. Now, one of the claimants is sitting saying talaq. In Chhattisgarh, they have said Kabul to more than one. One of the claimants is sitting there saying talaq. Let me just complete. Then in Himachal also, and now I'll tell you what is the real problem. My problem is not about this talaq template of Rajasthan. Who will be the next Sachin Pilot of Karnataka? This is not my concern. In Himachal, they said 1,500 rupees to the women will be given, not fulfill promise. 300 units will be given.
But I'll come to the welfare
Anusha, this is fundamental. Anusha, this is fundamental. Of all the things, this is fundamental. You can have that interjection after I finish. I'm telling you, please have that interjection, but after I finish. Only thing I'm trying to say is that the promises of the people go behind, and then posturing, position, poster becomes the main thing.
You can't criticize one party for not having democracy, and then if they have an internal process that they're following while electing a leader, then you slam them. Why are you taking so long?
I'll tell you, because this is nothing remotely close to democracy. I'll tell you why. Because they have said that it will be the elected MLA's decision, which has already been noted in a report. then what is taking them so much time? Mr. Khadge comes out and says that whatever the observers observe with the report will go to the High Command. He does not even consider himself as the High Command. This is their so-called democracy. Parivar Tantra is not equal to Lok Tantra. Thirdly, last and final point. What is Rahul Gandhi's locus? Why is he meeting the 2 or 3 parties involved in this? Is he a current president of the party? Shouldn't Mr. Khadge decide it? And at the end, and last point, the fundamental point for the BJP as a national spokesperson, I reiterate, is that Himachal, 1,500 rupees to women not given, 300 units not given, Rajasthan, Kisan Karz Maafi not given.
Come to the
promises go behind,
right now, the first
and it is the people who are
right now
betrayed.
is that whether this is unreasonable delay or perhaps any kind of reasonable time that any political party would take to make such a critical decision. This is not a situation that somebody could have not predicted. You know, Mr. D.K. Shivakumar versus Mr. Siddaramaiah, we've been talking about it for the last 2 years in the newsrooms. Should the Congress party have been better prepared? Should there have been a template or an SOP when the situation arises, or perhaps this was inevitable? Mahima ji has a fair point. She says, we're only following our internal processes. BJP says, well, this is another Rajasthan in the making.
Thank you for having me on the show. And why would anyone assume that the Congress was not prepared for it? In fact, I can tell you for a fact on your show, Congress was absolutely prepared, and it's going so smoothly. So the worthy spokesperson from the National Party, Bharatiya Janata Party, says, did not answer your fundamental question. 7 days delay for Himanta Biswa Sharma ji, who, by the way, was campaigning in Delhi while you had a sitting chief minister in Assam. Long delay for Yogi Adityanath ji. Now he says, have you seen any dharna against Yogi Adityanath ji? I want to read out CNN News 18. BJP MLAs 100 protest against own government, Yogi Adityanath ji, in Uttar Pradesh Assembly. 100.
No, but that was not after the swearing in. That's a separate event that happened.
So did Sachin Pilot do it after the swearing in? No, separately.
He did not do it.
Correct. So what's true for the apples must hold true for the oranges.
No.
So now,
I'll come back to you. I'll come back to you. One at a time. Yes.
In the Assembly. You tell me another example of 100 MLAs protesting against their own government. हम करे तो चमत्कार, कोई और करे तो गुनहगार.
Let me have just one small
Let's finish your argument, then
I
I'll
don't
give
cede
Shehzad.
my time.
Yes.
Don't interrupt me. So 100 MLAs. So हम करे चमत्कार, कोई और करे गुनहगार. Now let's come to the fundamental point. I am promising you this on your show. Faster than what Himanta Biswa Sharma ji became chief minister, you will have the next chief minister of Karnataka. Why is there a delay? Let me put the template in front of you. The delay is, as Mahima ji rightly said, that the portfolio allocations have to be done so that the people of Karnataka are served well. And in the first cabinet meeting, important decisions will be taken, like it was taken in Himachal, like it was taken in Uttarakhand, etc. Now, just one last point before I end. In Maharashtra, the illegitimate government, Supreme Court said it, the way they formed that government, for over a month, 2 men, Shinde ji and Fadnavis ji, sat alone and had a cabinet meeting. 2 men were doing chai pe charta and man ki baat and calling it a cabinet for over a month.
1 second.
हम करे तो चमत्कार, कोई और करे तो गुनहगार.
The invitation to invite Mr. Shinde to form the government was actually the right process. The Supreme Court had a lot of objections with the initial process. Let's not go there. But Shehzad, simply limiting it to the points that Tehseen has made in the context of Karnataka.
First of all, I made it amply clear that this was not a function of time issue. I made that very clear. I can understand that perhaps some people are not able to process it. One second, I did not.
One at a time. No, one at a time.
I very clearly articulated. Now I understand that he's only considered me as a spokesperson of the national party, so it says much about the Congress and what the supporters think about them. But I said very clearly that it's not a question of time. They can take 2 days extra. That's all right. I said once a decision is taken, was there any protest by any other claimant for the position of UP CM against Yogi Adityanath? Or was there any claimant in Madhya Pradesh who sat against the CM of Madhya Pradesh once the decision was taken? Or in any other state like Uttarakhand? In that case, Rajasthan, there are 2 claimants. One claimant was chosen and the second claimant has been sitting against him after 4.5 years. So I have articulated it very precisely. It is not about the time. It is about once a decision, in your opinion, which is a Lok-tantric decision is taken, then why is it leading to political bigamy? This political bigamy is what I'm talking about.
To deduce your argument, Shehzad, what you're arguing is that you may take a reasonable time to reach a decision as to who can be the chief minister. But would this government be stable? That's the key question. So I have to ask.
That's my point.
I have to ask a counter question to the BJP. The counter question is that Congress party argues that in fact it's the BJP which is responsible for the political instability in various states, and you have used extra constitutional means to actually destabilize governments.
Give me one example.
Well, there were multiple
Karnataka,
questions
no, one
that happened.
Karnataka, one second.
That happened in Goa. Goa was much
Who
talked
declared
about.
it unconstitutional?
Nobody
One second,
declared
one
it.
second.
Nobody
One
declared it.
second.
Nobody
Anusha,
declared it.
you-
But
Anusha, one second.
when
You
you talk
said-
about constitutionality, there is a question of morality,
declares that?
and there's a question of legality.
Okay, now can I answer?
Should I quote you the
Can I
Uttarakhand
answer?
High Court?
Can I
Uttarakhand High Court
answer? Can I
judgment.
answer?
Yes, please go ahead.
You said that we have used unconstitutional means to fiddle
No,
with...
your political opponents argue that. Yes.
That political opponents. They argue it even when we got the mandate in 2018 in Karnataka, the number 2 and number 3 party formed a government, they argued it against us. In Maharashtra, we won the mandate and Uddhav Sena fought under Modi ji's photo and then went and formed an alliance with them and came into power, and we are politically and constitutionally immoral. So, Anusha, I don't need certificates of ad hominem from people who have sold their entire political consciousness and gone to parties which they accused of riots in Mumbai and then went and did a deal with them. So, these friends with benefits can have their own stand on political morality. My limited point is, once you took a decision in Rajasthan, Gehlot ji, who is now sitting against Mr. Gehlot ji? Is it BJP?
Just give me one
Tessie,
second.
one second.
Only
Tessie, one
line.
second.
No.
I
He's getting
have-
away by a lie. One second.
What lie
He
did
spoke
I
about,
say?
I'll tell you. He spoke about friends with benefit. Rather be friends with benefits than be poison ivy that puts then rather poison ivy. But let me come to two things that
You're
you have
referring to Sachin.
I'm referring to your statement. Let me just come to two very important things. He said, can you tell me a Supreme Court judgment? All I asked the worthy BJP spokesperson is read Arunachal and Uttarakhand judgment. And the slap on the face of the BJP. The slap on the face of the BJP. Give me another example where the Goa governor herself said, because you mentioned Goa, she said, I took advice, not from High Court or Supreme Court judges, from Arun Jaitley, who's the law minister, governor taking advice
Can
from
I have
Arun
this one
Jaitley.
counter?
But we are
Because this is
digressing. We are
deviating.
digressing.
It's digressing.
Let me
In Arunachal,
allow me-
Uttarakhand,
Sir,
and
sir,
in, no,
you don't-
Arunachal,
digressing.
Uttarakhand,
We're digressing.
all these
No,
places
allow
we
me
have
my
formed a
point.
government against with the people's
made
mandate.
your
People's
point.
mandate,
You made
how
your point.
the highest voter percentage was Congress, it was the single largest party. मैं हम करें तो
Uttarakhand
चमत्कार.
who came
We
to
do
power
Chanakya
again?
Niti,
I
you
don't
do it's not
understand where
Gandhi
this is
Giri.
going.
Why?